Ghana, your beloved country, is free forever. From now on, there is a new African in the world. That new African is ready to fight his own battle and show that, after all, the black man is capable of managing his own affairs.
March 6th, 1957. The world watched as a small West African nation shattered the chains of the British Empire. But for its leader, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, a flag and an anthem weren't enough. He didn't just want a free Ghana, he wanted a superpower Africa. While other newly independent nations were begging for crumbs of aid, Nkrumah was looking at the stars and the atom. He knew that true independence required more than politics. It required energy. Infinite, unstoppable energy. In 1961, Nkrumah made a choice that sent a shiver down the spine of the White House. He turned his back on Western advisors and shook hands with the Soviet Union. The deal? The USSR would provide Ghana with a nuclear reactor, the IRT-2000. This wasn't just a science project, it was a declaration of war against the status quo. If Ghana had the atom, Ghana could lead the continent. And if Africa united under a nuclear-powered Ghana, the era of Western dominance was over. The Soviets didn't just send machines, they sent a vision. Between 1961 and 1966, the relationship between Accra and Moscow became the most dangerous alliance in the Southern Hemisphere. Hundreds of brilliant Ghanaian minds were flown to the USSR. They weren't learning how to farm, they were learning nuclear physics, quantum mechanics, and reactor engineering. At the same time, Soviet engineers were deep in the bush of Kwabenya, just outside Accra, pouring the concrete for what was to be the science city of Africa. Imagine it, 1965. While the rest of the continent was struggling with basic infrastructure, Ghana was months away from splitting the atom. The Soviet Union was essentially building a Silicon Valley with a nuclear heart in West Africa. But in Washington, D.C., the CIA was watching. Declassified memos from the time reveal a growing panic. They saw Nkrumah not as a visionary, but as a Soviet satellite in the making. A man who was becoming too powerful to control. To the West, a nuclear Ghana was a nightmare. Why? Because nuclear technology is dual use. Even though Nkrumah publicly swore the program was for peace, the Americans knew that a nation that can run a reactor is a nation that is one step away from a bomb. A United States of Africa, led by a nuclear-armed Nkrumah, would mean the end of Western access to African gold, bauxite, and oil on favorable terms. It would mean a new global power bloc. The CIA's Accra station began Operation Cold Chop. They didn't need to invade. They just needed to find the right men inside the Ghanaian military who were jealous of Nkrumah's power. They stoked the flames of discontent, whispering about the extravagant cost of the nuclear program, while the price of cocoa, Ghana's main export, was being manipulated on the world market to crash the economy. They waited for the perfect moment. That moment came in February 1966, when Nkrumah left the country on a peace mission to Vietnam. The lion was away from the den. February 24, 1966. The National Liberation Council struck. It was a bloody, swift, and calculated coup.
It has been some of these things within Ghana that when a ruler is useless, you depose him. And therefore, we have deposed Kwame Nkrumah. We don't want tyranny or anything here.
Soviet advisors were rounded up and expelled. Some reports suggest Soviet scientists were killed in the chaos. But look at what happened next. This is the smoking gun. One of the very first acts of the new military government wasn't to fix the economy. It was to shut down the nuclear program. Under the guidance of Western experts, the reactor project was dismantled. The crates of Soviet equipment were left to rot. The scientists who had been trained in Moscow were sidelined or fled into exile. The Science City became a ghost town. The lost future of Ghana was sealed. In a single day, Ghana went from the brink of the atomic age back to the era of being a primary resource exporter. The West had won. Africa had lost. Today, Ghana struggles with persistent power outages that cripple businesses. As we stand in 2026, the government is once again talking to Russia's Rosatom about nuclear power. But the question remains, what if the 1966 coup had failed? What if those Soviet-trained scientists had been allowed to finish their work? Would Africa be the world's leading economic power today? History is written by the victors, but the ruins of Kwabenya tell a different story. They tell the story of a black star that tried to burn as bright as the sun and was extinguished before it could even begin. Thanks for watching. If you want to dive deeper into the secret history of Africa's stolen potential, hit that subscribe button. The truth is often hidden in plain sight.